Every 60 seconds that you spend walking for exercise without knowing this, you are leaving the single most powerful thing you could do for your legs sitting completely unused. And by the time most of my patients find out, they have already lost years of muscle they cannot get back. I am a doctor, and after more than 15 years working with patients who are over 60, over 70, over 80, I can tell you this: the conversation about exercise for older adults is broken. We tell you to walk 30 minutes a day. Walk after dinner, walk to the mailbox. And walking is good. I am not here to take that away from you. But if building your leg strength, your balance, your independence is the goal, and it should be the goal, then walking alone is not enough. There is one exercise that builds your legs faster, more completely, and more safely than walking alone. And the research on this is not new. It is just never explained to you in a 10 or 12 minute appointment. Today I'm going to tell you exactly what that exercise is, why it works when walking does not fully deliver, the mechanism inside your muscle that makes it so powerful, how to do it safely at home, starting tonight, and the specific mistakes that cancel all the results. Stay with me until the end, because the mistake I am going to cover last is the one I see most often in patients over 70, and it is the one that quietly keeps them weak, even when they think they are doing everything right. Before we go any further, tell me in the comments how old you are and whether you have had any falls or balance issues in the last 2 years. I read every single one, and knowing the age and the challenges in this audience shapes exactly what I cover next. Let me start with what is actually happening inside your legs right now, because without this, nothing else I say will stick. After the age of 50, your body begins losing muscle at a rate of roughly 1 to 2% per year. That process has a name. It is called sarcopenia. And the reason it matters is not cosmetic. Muscle is the organ of longevity. It is where your body burns fuel. It is what catches you when you slip. It is what gets you off the toilet, out of the car, up the stairs. When muscle goes, independence goes with it. Now here is where walking falls short, and I want to be precise about this because I am not dismissing walking. Walking is excellent for your cardiovascular system, your mood, your circulation, your joints. But to build muscle, to actually force your body to grow new muscle fibers and stop the loss, you need something called progressive resistance. Your muscle needs to work against a load that is hard enough to signal your brain that you need more tissue. Walking, for most people over 60, is not that signal. It is maintenance at best. Your legs are already strong enough to walk. So walking does not push them past where they are. The exercise I am going to describe today does. It is simple, it requires no equipment, it can be done in your living room, and the evidence behind it is overwhelming. That exercise is the squat, specifically the chair-assisted squat, also called the sit-to-stand exercise. Now, before you close this video because you think squats are for young people or for gyms or for people without bad knees, stay with me. Because what I am describing is not a gym squat. It is not a barbell squat. It is the exact movement your body was designed to do, the movement of sitting down and standing up, done with intention and control, and it activates more muscle at once than any other movement you can do without equipment. I want to be very clear about something right now. If you have had a recent hip or knee replacement, a vertebral fracture, or a balance condition that makes standing unsupported unsafe, talk to your doctor or physical therapist before starting any new exercise program. What I am describing today is appropriate for most older adults, but you know your body and your history, and your doctor knows your chart. Use that partnership. Now, let me explain the mechanism, because once you understand what is happening inside your body, you will never skip this exercise again. When you stand up from a chair, you are activating your quadriceps, the 4 muscles at the front of your thigh. You are activating your gluteus maximus, the largest muscle in your body. You are activating your hamstrings, your calves, your hip stabilizers, and crucially your core. You are doing all of that in one movement. And when you slow that movement down, when you lower yourself back into the chair with control instead of dropping, you are doing something called an eccentric contraction. That is where the real magic happens. Eccentric contraction means the muscle is working while it is lengthening. Picture a rubber band being stretched slowly under tension. That stretch under load is the strongest growth signal your body knows. It tears microscopic fibers in a controlled way. Your body repairs those fibers thicker and stronger than before. This is how muscle is built. And this is precisely what your legs are not getting from a flat walk on a sidewalk. A study published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that resistance-based lower body training in adults over 65 led to significant gains in both muscle strength and functional mobility, improvements that were not replicated by walking alone. The mechanism is exactly what I just described: the load, the eccentric phase, the repair. Now, let me walk you through exactly how to do this correctly, because form is everything here. Done right, this exercise is one of the safest things you can do. Done wrong, it puts strain on your knees and lower back and you quit. Find a sturdy chair. Not a rolling office chair, not a soft couch. A dining chair, a wooden chair, something that does not move. Stand in front of it with your feet about shoulder width apart. Your toes can point slightly outward, about 10 to 15 degrees. That is just the natural angle of most people's hips. Now here is the key. Before you move, you are going to brace your core. That means pulling your belly button gently in, like you are preparing for someone to tap your stomach. Not sucking in, not straining, just firm and engaged. Begin to sit down. But here is where this becomes an exercise instead of just sitting. You are going to lower yourself slowly, take 3 full seconds to go down, push your hips back first, as if you are reaching for the chair with your seat. Keep your knees tracking over your toes, not collapsing inward. Keep your chest up. Do not let your back round forward. If you need to, lightly touch the armrests for balance. That is completely fine. If your knees are painful at the bottom, do not go all the way down. Go 70% of the way and hold. That is still effective. Now stand back up. Drive through your heels. Push the floor away from you. Take 2 seconds on the way up. At the top, fully extend your hips. Stand tall. Do not let yourself lean forward or let your lower back arch aggressively. Just stand tall, squeeze your glutes for 1 second at the top, and go again. That is 1 repetition. Start with 5 repetitions. Rest for 60 seconds, do another 5. That is your first session. If 5 is too easy and you complete them with full control and 0 pain, do 8. If 5 is hard, do 3. Meet your body where it is. Do this 3 times a week, not every day. Your muscle needs 48 hours to repair between sessions. That is not a suggestion. That is biology. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Pick your pattern and keep it. Now, somewhere around 40% of the way through what I want to cover today, I want to pause and acknowledge something. Everything I just described, the mechanism, the form cues, the weekly structure, this is information that should be in the hands of every older adult in America. But your doctor has 10 minutes, and insurance does not reimburse an explanation of eccentric contraction. That is exactly why I put together something called the Complete Senior Health Vault. It has 3 full guides, the medications worth questioning, food as medicine, and a complete body manual for life after 70. Everything this channel barely has time to touch, laid out in plain English, applied to your specific pills, your specific plate, and the specific signals your body is sending you right now. If you want to go deeper than any single video can take you, the link is in the description, and you can also scan the code on your screen right now. It is not a prescription, and it is not a replacement for your doctor. It is the conversation your appointments never had time for. Now, let me keep moving, because we are not done. There is a reason I said the sit to stand is faster than walking at building your legs, and I want to make sure that claim lands with the precision it deserves. A research review in the journal Current Opinion in Clinical Nutrition and Metabolic Care confirmed that resistance exercise specifically, not aerobic exercise alone, is the primary intervention for reversing sarcopenia. The reason is hormonal and cellular. When you load a muscle with enough tension, it triggers the release of a compound called IGF-1, or insulin-like growth factor 1. Think of IGF-1 as the foreman at a construction site. It signals satellite cells, which are your muscle's repair crew, to wake up, multiply, and fuse with damaged fibers to make them bigger. Walking does not reliably trigger this cascade in older adults. Resistance exercise does. Your legs are the largest muscle group in your body. Training them does not just make your legs stronger. It releases hormones and proteins that benefit your brain, your metabolism, your immune system, and your bone density. There is a signaling molecule called irisin that muscle releases when it contracts under load. Irisin crosses the blood-brain barrier. Research published in Nature Medicine found that irisin stimulates the production of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is the fertilizer for your brain cells. Stronger legs, sharper mind, not metaphor. Mechanism. This is what I mean when I say that leg muscle is not just about walking from the parking lot. It is one of the most powerful longevity organs you have, and the sit-to-stand exercise is the key that unlocks it. Now let me give you the progression, because one of the biggest mistakes I see is that people start strong and then plateau. Your body adapts. The same 5 repetitions that challenged you in week 1 will be easy by week 3. That is not a problem. That is success. And when it happens, you need to change the stimulus. Here is a 4-stage progression that goes from beginner to genuinely challenging without ever requiring equipment. Stage 1 is what I already described. 5 to 8 slow repetitions, 3 seconds down, 2 seconds up, chair for balance 3 times a week. Stay here for 2 to 3 weeks, or until it feels easy and controlled. Stage 2 is the same movement, but you add a pause. At the bottom, before you stand back up, hold for 2 seconds. That pause eliminates momentum. You cannot bounce out of the chair. Your muscles have to generate the force from a dead stop. That dramatically increases the load on your quads and glutes without adding weight. Do 8 to 10 repetitions with the pause. Stage 3 is the single leg modified sit to stand. You do not have to do a full single leg squat. Instead, from standing, shift 70 to 80% of your weight onto one leg before you lower down. The other foot stays on the floor for stability, but bears less load. This creates asymmetry, which forces each leg to work harder independently. This is critical because muscle loss in older adults is often uneven. One leg weaker than the other, and bilateral exercises can mask that imbalance. Do 6 to 8 repetitions per leg. Stage 4 is the unassisted slow sit to stand with a tall box or firm cushion. If your chair is low, sitting down to it requires more range of motion and more muscle control. A standard chair is about 17 to 18 inches. If you can safely lower yourself to a chair that is 15 inches, that additional 2 or 3 inches of depth increases the load on your quadriceps substantially. Only attempt this when stage 3 is comfortable and your balance is solid. Now I need to talk about the specific mistakes that cancel the results. I promised this at the beginning and I am going to deliver it fully. Mistake 1 is going too fast. If you are bouncing in and out of the chair in one fluid motion, you are using momentum, not muscle. Momentum does not make you stronger. Momentum is the enemy here. 3 seconds down, 2 seconds up, and that pause at the bottom. Always. Mistake 2 is letting your knees cave inward. When your knees collapse toward each other on the way down or on the way up, you are loading the inside of the joint, which over time contributes to knee pain and damage. Think about pushing your knees outward in the same direction as your toes. Not aggressively, just a gentle reminder with each rep. Knees track over toes. Mistake 3 is leaning too far forward. A slight forward lean of the torso is normal and necessary. But if your chest is nearly parallel to the floor at the bottom, your lower back is doing work your legs should be doing. Keep your chest up, eyes forward, and think about sitting back rather than sitting down. Mistake 4 is holding your breath. This one matters especially for anyone with elevated blood pressure. Holding your breath while exerting creates a spike in intrathoracic pressure, which in turn spikes blood pressure. Exhale on the effort. That means exhale as you stand up, inhale as you lower down. Make it natural, make it rhythmic. Mistake 5, and this is the one I see most in patients over 70, is inconsistency. People do this exercise for a week, feel sore, and stop. Then they start again 2 weeks later, get sore again, and stop. On and off, on and off. The soreness in the first week is normal. It is called delayed onset muscle soreness, and it is a sign your muscle is responding. It is not injury, it is adaptation beginning. Push through the first 2 weeks with modified intensity if needed, and then consistency will carry you. Let me tell you about someone I will call Margaret. She was 73 years old, from Louisville, Kentucky. She came to see me after her second fall in 6 months. The first fall was on the stairs. The second was stepping out of the bathtub. She was not injured badly either time, but she was scared. She told me she had started to feel like her legs were just not reliable anymore. Like there was a delay between when she decided to move and when her body actually responded. Her daughter had started driving her everywhere. Margaret had stopped going to her Wednesday garden club because she was afraid of the uneven ground in the park. She was 73 years old, and she had quietly started to arrange her life around her fear of her own legs. We did not start with a prescription. We did not start with a referral to physical therapy, though that is a wonderful resource if it is available to you. We started with 5 sit-to-stand repetitions 3 times a week in her kitchen with her hand resting on the counter. Within 6 weeks, she was doing 10 repetitions without touching the counter. Within 3 months, her gait speed had improved, which is a clinical marker we measure because it correlates with fall risk and even mortality in older adults. She told me at her 4-month visit that she had gone back to her Wednesday garden club, and she walked the whole path without holding on to anyone. She said that was the first time in 2 years she had done that. That is what building your legs does. It does not just make a number on a test better. It gives you your life back. Now, let me bring this all together into something you can actually use tonight, because information without a plan is just trivia. Tonight, before you go to bed, find a sturdy dining chair, place it in a clear area, stand in front of it, put your feet shoulder width apart, toes slightly out. Brace your core, just a gentle firmness. Lower yourself slowly over 3 seconds, push your hips back first, keep your chest up, knees tracking over toes, hold at the bottom for 1 second, stand back up over 2 seconds, driving through your heels, do 5 repetitions. Rest for 60 seconds, do 5 more. That is your first session. Write down the date, how many repetitions you did, and whether you needed to use your hands. That log is your proof of progress. Mark 3 days on your calendar this week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, if today is the start of your week. And commit to those 3 days for the next 4 weeks. At the end of 4 weeks, test yourself. See if 5 repetitions has become easy. See if you can add the pause at the bottom. See if you can go without touching the chair. Your legs are not finished. The muscle you have right now is not the ceiling, it is the floor. The biology of muscle response does not stop working at 65 or 70 or 80. The research is clear on this. Older muscle responds to resistance training. It is slower and it requires consistency, but it responds. The system does not always have time to tell you this. The appointment ends, you get a pamphlet about walking, and you go home. That is not malice. That is economics. But you are here, and now you know the mechanism, the movement, the progression, and the mistakes to avoid. One more thing before you go. This is the one I want you to carry with you. The sit to stand is not just exercise. Every time you stand up from a chair in your house, eating breakfast, watching television, getting up from your reading chair, you now have a choice. You can stand up slowly and with control. You can make that a training rep. You live in a gym, you just have not been using it. Drop a comment below and tell me you are going to try 5 repetitions tonight. I read the comments, and if someone in your family has been struggling with their balance or their leg strength, send them this video. It might be the thing that changes the conversation they are having with their body. Before you go, there is one more thing your body's doing at night while you sleep that either repairs your muscle or quietly works against everything you built today. That is the next video, and it is one you are going to want to watch before tomorrow morning. Stay sharp, and I will see you there.